everyone. As you can probably tell or not tell by my outfit, I am schoolgirl Minion Michelle, and I am returning to do another video for this month of Halloween. I apologize that these videos have to be uploaded today, unfortunately, the day after Halloween. Unfortunately, as Minions partied a little bit too much and we're kind of a little bit distracted, unfortunately, to make videos up until the end of October, the day of Halloween, so we are going to be catching up. And you will see the regular Michelle today as well. So without further ado, let us catch up through all of these videos, starting off with my video, which is a Something Bad Thursday video. And today I thought it would be interesting to discuss inappropriate manners, because those are things that I think oftentimes people come to associate with around this time of year. In particular, the way in which people sort of behave. Obviously, there are people who behave rather well throughout this time of year and, are fairly appreciative for getting free candy and, respecting people's property, but sometimes, unfortunately, there are things that sometimes get a little bit awry this time of year, and as a result, I think this is what has fueled people's lack of sort of participation when it comes to Halloween, is this sort of inappropriate behavior that we would consider to be bad. An example would be obviously even the small things like not saying thank you when you are given candy around this time of year. I think, especially when strangers go out and buy stuff for you for free, I think a lot of people would expect at least a thank you for trying to participate with the holiday. So I think that's something that I've noticed too over the years, is sometimes people just don't seem to be grateful for getting their candy. They just kind of want to get the candy and then move on to the next house. So I think that's something that's not as courteous, at least from my experience, and I feel like it just reflects onto just, not being friendly and appreciative. So I think that kind of a thing is, although it's probably fairly simple, it's just a certain kind of custom that I think should be present, especially around holiday as important as Halloween. And also I've noticed too that kids in particular, even some younger, or excuse me, older kids, like to just take a handful of the candy. Like they'll just grab into it and just pull out a handful for them. And basically that handful could have, suited maybe 4 or maybe even 5 kids, and this is very, I think, discourteous to not only the kids that could have gotten some of that handful of candy, but also to the people who are providing the candy, because then they have less candy to give out to the rest of the people. So I think it's kind of courteous that if somebody is trying to provide you candy, that you just take one or however many they say you can take, instead of just warping in a handful or whatnot. Unless I think it's clearly specified, that it doesn't matter how many you take, then I think it's totally fine. But if somebody's literally saying, please only take one, and then you just take a whole handful, it's not really the nicest thing to do. And I think I've noticed that throughout the years, is that sometimes it just doesn't rub people, in particular people that are providing candy, the right way. Also, sometimes people will have to leave out candy because they're going somewhere on that day, or they're going to be out of town or something, and then they'll leave a thing for kids to go and get candy, and then you'll have some discourteous person just decide to take the whole entire candy, including sometimes even the bowl. Sometimes they even take the bowl. Um, and it was hilarious. I remember one year when somebody left a bowl on our lawn and we had no clue where the bowl came from. So we were just kind of like, I guess we might as well keep it because we have no idea where it came from. But, it's just that kind of a thing that I think is just, really what rubs people the wrong way, especially if you even take the bowl too. I mean, I'm sure people like to use their Tupperware for other things, besides giving out candy. And so I think, it just sets a bad tone, I think, if you're just not even gonna bother to even, you know, just leave the bowl. I mean, you're just gonna go and take everything. So yeah, it's just that kind of amount of discourtesy that I think really is sometimes unfortunately rampant during this time of year. Um, and also, playing tricks on people is also a pain in the butt, especially when you're the one being tricked on. Um, like, for example, TPing the house. And that's always a pain because you have to get rid of all of the toilet paper the next day. So it's just a hassle sometimes, especially when, it's somebody you don't even know who just happened to do it on Halloween because it's Halloween, haha, we have to bring people. Um, and I think this kind of behavior, like the inappropriate behavior, the lack of courtesy, is really what's deterring, I think, people from actually participating in the holiday. Um, and I can definitely see why. I mean, I think it is um, annoying to have to deal with the lack of courtesy. I mean, I can totally understand why some people would be, kind of scrooged out about Halloween, especially when you're having to deal with strangers coming to your door, and, not really knowing who's going to really come and if they're going to offer the courtesy that you would come to expect around this time of year. So I think it's just something that's important to know, and I think people need to be definitely more aware of this kind of a thing. And I think definitely parents should really consider it too, um, to tell their kids to say thank you, and to pay attention more to what their kids are doing. I just think that would really at least help as far as everybody at the end of the day having a really good time. And it's really supposed to be, for the most part, I think, really a kid's holiday, Halloween, unless you're planning a party, which usually I think is what really occurs, at least within my age group. Is just, we throw a party and we have candy and whatnot. But for kids going out trick or treating and really participating in the whole tradition of Halloween, I would definitely encourage them to, just consider, the other people and, um, what they're doing and what they're contributing to you so you can have a good time, Um, and really, I think that's at the end of the day what's going to make things, I think, ultimately better for everybody is if everybody just kind of stayed aware of other people's feelings and understand their uh, participation is what makes it all sort of possible. But I think that's really ultimately all I can say when it comes to this particular video. I think that, the way in which the holiday is sort of exhibited, people's attitudes and whatnot, I think they reflect onto the way people perceive the holiday. And I think the lack of manners that happen sometimes, I think, are what unfortunately leads people to be a little bit more scroogey around this time of year. But I think that's really ultimately all I can say about this Something Bad Thursday for this particular topic. However, if any questions, comments, concerns, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all had a pleasant Halloween, and all of the other minions will be sure to do their videos for today and have everything uploaded, and also regular Michelle will do her video as well. But hopefully until next year I can come by. But until then, everybody.